it going? So today's project is digging out these cone boxwoods right here that have been here for I don't even know how long. They were here when we moved in and they're beautiful plants. I'll show you. Like, you know, some evergreens you can kind of spread them apart and there's a lot of dead and brown on the inside, but these are pretty nice. And they've been nice since we moved in. So I want to save them if at all possible. The gazebo, yes, it is still here. The city is supposed to come next week. We kind of had to light a fire under them and say, like, we need this out, and if you can't come get it, we're gonna have to figure out something different because we heard from Hartley, and I think we're going to be installing or starting the installation process in June, which is not very far away from now. So anyway, I have to have out all of the things that I want to keep by next week. So we're gonna start with the boxwoods. I've already moved the other day. I moved 45 perennials from around here and 3 roses. I've moved a couple Japanese maples, hostas, those perennials, and a big viburnum. So there's just a handful of other things I want to save, and the boxwoods are going to be kind of a beast because we need to move the savannah urns on the west side to the cut flower garden to make room for these. Anyway, it's always just such a process, isn't it? You have to just go step by step and work on things as you can. Here's a look at them. Aren't they beautiful? I just think they're so gorgeous. And there's just a handful of other things. So we've got this linden tree here that we need to dig up. There's a crabapple on the other side. There are 5 boscobel roses in here and 2 ginger wine 9-barks, 2 spirals. I mean, compared to what was here earlier, it's just a handful of things and it shouldn't be too much trouble. So let's take a little bit of a closer look. I believe the variety of these are Green Mountain, which grow naturally in more of a conical shape. But check this out. You spread it apart and it's just green. Like, there's just green all the way down. Well, not all the way down. Right in the center, it's kind of branchy and stuff. But there's like a good, I would say, 8 to 10 inches of green growth all the way around this cone into the interior, which I think is kind of rare. So anyway, there's our little robo mower, which we were just talking about this morning. That was just installed last fall. You might remember that video. So we weren't able to really put it through a ton of work. So we were really looking forward to seeing how it did this spring and summer. And so far, it's keeping this lawn looking like a golf course. And so we were thinking, well, if we were to invest in another one, we would probably, like that new big grass patch we're putting up front, I mean, if we can have something that just takes care of the grass and we don't have to mow it, bag it, any of that business, how amazing would that be? I mean, just looking toward like future-proofing our garden, because everything that we're doing, we're trying to do in a way that we think, okay, are we gonna want this sort of maintenance, you know, 10 years from now or 15 or 20 years from now? Or are, you know, we're gonna wanna scale it back? And that's why we're not doing a ton of formal plantings in the new space, because formal plantings just require so much more maintenance. But look at this lawn. 100% of the maintenance is because of that little mower. We haven't done a thing to it other than put water on it and start that little mower. Oh, I love it. Okay, so first things first, we've got to go move the savannah urns and prep that area. Aaron said he would come out and help me do that because there's no way I can lift those urns. Ooh, good timing.
Tractor key.
Ooh, yeah, that would work.
Yeah.
I'm thinking we can move them.
Of course it'll work.
Do you think we could move those maybe to the entrance, one of the entrances of the cut flower garden is what I'm thinking.
I remember you saying something about what you were going to do today, but I actually don't remember.
So I'm thinking...
I remember just moving something heavy, right?
Yeah. Savannah urns.
Okay.
To...
Savannah.
Savannah. Too much coffee or something. Which is right there, by the way.
Like with molasses coming out of your mouth.
You should have been an actor, Aaron.
I should have.
You missed your calling. Okay, so I'm thinking savannah urns to one of the openings of the cut flower garden.
Okay.
And then we'll dig up the boxwoods and move them to the savannah urn area.
Should we have the bucket or the forks?
I think either one, but I think we need some burlap. Okay. And I need a shovel. So I can go to the barn first. Okay. I'll meet you over there. Oh, look at this flower bed. Paul's been mulching, and you guys, it is giving me life to see the gardens looking all spick and span. I mean, look at the difference. This is a mulched side. This one has not yet been mulched, and you can see drip tubes sticking up and such, and leaves and stuff like that. Oh, it looks so good. This area has been freshly mulched. Acropolis, I think that's what these are called. I kind of just feel like touring all the pretty things in the garden right now instead of moving containers and digging up plants. I'm gonna need some of this. And this is the shovel I used to dig up that red bud. There was a lot of you guys who wondered what it was. It's a Fiskar shovel. I don't know if there's a model number or what. Anyway, it works pretty good. I can use it like a pry bar. I mean, you guys saw. So sticker bigger step on it. Okay, burlap. I'm gonna steal some of your burlap bed up here, Cheddar. Here we are. Got some burlap. The last thing I was gonna get, oh, I was gonna open the studio door. Hold on, Aaron, I wanna get that open so it doesn't get too hot. So instead of running the heat and air in the studio right now, since it's so mild and beautiful, we just open up the garage door. And that way this room can get a little breeze, some fresh, cooler air. Ceilings have been loving it. Oh, I gotta turn on these lights right here. My only system that's not on a timer yet. Look at these. Oh, so beautiful. So these are the Savannah urns right here. I absolutely adore these planters. They came from Unique Stone. I think eventually I'd like to get a pillar to put underneath them somewhere. But I just really love how wide the diameter is without being like an enormously huge pot on the bottom. So we had them up here, but since this whole area is kind of going, we moved them here just for the time being, and now we're gonna move them, so this is where the boxwoods are gonna go. And I think it's gonna be perfect because if you look down the way here, there's a lot of boxwood activity going on, and there's already cones, so we will mirror that, as well as on the other side, there's another large cone, which was original, or I mean not original to the house, but original to the house when we bought it. So that's exactly kind of the same size and variety and everything right here. So anyway, it'll kind of make it more cohesive. We are planning on doing a rejuvenation prune on this big lilac when it's done blooming. And then at that point, we'll bring the boxwood hedge all the way over to meet this. I'm not sure how much these urns weigh, but they are 2 pieces. The bowl on top comes off of the base, and they're stout. So I'm thinking, Aaron, we can...
Set one right there and just set the other one right...
I'm thinking
we do one at a time.
One so we can put the base down.
Sure.
Okay. I'm thinking you might need to come a little closer. Do you think you could?
Sure.
I
don't think it's that heavy.
You don't?
No, I think...
he doesn't think it's that heavy.
No, it's pretty light.
Says the man.
No, you can do it though, trust me.
All right, hold on. So we're gonna go from here to the opening on the side of the cut flower garden. And Chad's actually here doing some work too right now. He is putting some road mix in behind the fence. Then he's gonna roll it and put the decorative gravel on top so we can start placing all of our stuff back there. I'm so excited. Okay, so here's the question, Aaron. Should we put it right outside? So this wood thing indicates the corner. Should we line up the corner of it so we don't lose the corner?
Do you want it on this side of it or that side, or?
I'm thinking if we line up the back corner of the base right here, that might be perfect.
Sure. We need to use something else to denote the corners.
Right.
I wonder if we could just put like some rebar or nails or something in the ground.
Like pins.
So, yeah, pins, so we always kind of know what the proper
corner is. Sure. Well, we're gonna have to remove these in order to accommodate the top of the urn.
Yeah, you're right. Like that?
Yeah. So we keep the walkway really open. Yeah. That's a good idea. Yep.
Okay, you want to look underneath?
Oh, you're almost on it. The hole is a little bit that way.
Like toward me?
It's like so the hole is right here. Okay. So we need to move it.
Okay.
Oh.
There it is.
Yay! That looks pretty good.
Wow, look at us.
They look so good right here. I love it. Now we forgot to grab a level, so that's something we'll have to do, but I did bring some gravel. I put a little pile of gravel behind each pot so that when we happen to bring a level back out here, we can easily level those up quick. So yesterday I did something kind of funny. I, grew a ton of onions from seed, a ton, and I planted roughly 520 to 550 onions between the raised beds in our vegetable garden and out here. Well, then we had a 27-degree night and these onions came out of our studio. I didn't harden them off a ton, just a little bit. And then we had a ton of wind and the tops of all my onions got completely browned out. They were all flopped over. So I thought, well, dang it. I mean, I don't technically need to plant all of these onions, but I kind of want that structure out here. I like the way they look. So I went down to the garden center and picked up more onions. Well, I brought them home yesterday to replant that whole big section, and I think that they're all coming back. So I ended up planting onions in another spot. Now I think I have roughly somewhere between 850 and 900 onions planted. So here's the new row of onions right here, just beyond the Brussels sprouts. There's the hedge of cabbage. I came out with land and sea last night after I was done with the onions, and I just mulched up each bed. Even though I used a little bit at planting and each planting site, I just thought, oh, it'd be nice, one, to kind of keep the cabbage upright and not flopping around in the wind so much, and then just to help feed the soil and help the plants, and it looks pretty. I have not mulched these beds yet. I'm counting the flowers a loss. I'm gonna replant. But I had a little bit left of one bag. I made it that far. So I'll mulch this bed up today, and then of course we'll be mulching the potatoes up in that bed as they grow. But these are the other onions. They look so incredibly sad, but when you get really close, like this is the part that was nipped, but they're sending out new green growth and they're all rooted in. So I thought, well, we'll see what happens. Oh my goodness. We're gonna be long on onions this year, which means we'll just have more to donate, and that's what this space is gonna end up doing. Whatever we can't use in friends and family, we donate. So it doesn't matter if it's flowers or food to me. It's all a good thing and all very fun. Just driving up to this space, I think it isn't good to not have more concrete. It was concrete heavy, and it's really easy to do that because there's so many beautiful concrete pieces. So you gotta be careful not to clutter up your space. That's just my personal opinion. I know I see some people's gardens that have a ton of pottery and all sorts of stuff. And you know what, to each their own. It's got its own beauty too. And I can't tell you how thankful I am for that tractor. I know Aaron is. It's come in so incredibly handy so many times. So I think I'm gonna start by kind of excavating this area, just trying to dig the holes. I don't know how big of a root ball we're gonna be able to get with these boxwoods, but if I have the hole semi-prepared, it will be a quicker transfer. I don't want the root balls to stay out in the air for too long. And I'm not super looking forward to digging over here because it's usually really hard to dig holes in this spot because it used to be gravel driveway. Hey, Russell. Hey, buddy. Holes have been dug, kind of. I think a pretty good start anyway. I was looking at the trajectory of the bricks though, and see how when we continue them on, they're gonna kind of go right along, like we're going to take out that first row of bricks there. So I'm gonna have to be careful. I may have to bump them back a little bit more. It depends on how I can get them dug out. So I may have to shave off a little bit more from the back side of this hole so they can sit far enough away from the edge to not be like impeding. I don't want anything to look too crowded. Also, if you saw this orange cord cable when I was digging, we knew it was there. That's a really old cord that runs here. There's nothing that runs in this area. So we're good. And we're almost to the point of the year where I'm gonna need to abandon winter wear. It's starting to get warm. So let's head back to the gazebo and get the boxwoods dug up. This is the part I may need Aaron's help with when I get them out of the ground. The root balls are usually really heavy. So anyway, let's head that direction. got the first one to go in that hole right there. And Benjamin, I think I'm gonna have to move that pile of dirt a little bit because this boxwood is a lot bigger than I kind of thought. Anyway, do you remember when we dug out the big boxwood from in front of our house and planted it in that container? This is about the same size root ball. This one actually may be a little bit bigger, and that one's still alive. So I'm very hopeful that we just keep it moist, use some good fertilizer. Good job, buddy. And it should be all right. But I do think I need to shave out a little on the back side here so I can bump it back a hair. Oh, you guys, it looks so good. It fits this spot so beautifully. Let me show you all angles here. Look at that, Benjamin. Isn't that gorgeous? Uh-huh. You got this side right here. You can see that the bricks, when they take off, they'll just go right in front of it because we'll probably maintain its current shape because that's what we've been doing all these years and probably before we were even here. So we won't let it get much bigger than that. I do feel like it's gonna necessitate maybe finishing off this little design that we have going here. Like maybe doing boxwood straight all the way to that one. And that way there's not a gap, which it made sense when we didn't have the boxwood there, but now I'm feeling like maybe it would be more cohesive to have that continuation. Or maybe not, I don't know. Oh, Benjamin found his trike. He's almost too big for it now. Time for a new bike. I can't even believe it. And I was able to do it by myself, which is surprising. I thought for sure, I was prepping Aaron this morning, telling him like, oh, I don't know, this will be really heavy, and the holes are gonna be a pain, and he was probably like, oh, so he'll be happy. I did water this in as well, and I introduced the root ball to the hole and then watered it before I put dirt around it, just to make sure that the root system was fully saturated. And I'll leave this soil sitting here for a little while, just until I water this a couple of times to see if the soil settles in around the root ball, which it inevitably does, and I'll need a little extra soil. So I won't remove this stuff until that happens, but it should be pretty easy, pretty low mess because I did put it on top of a burlap sack. So anyway, yeah, let's go get the other one by the gazebo. You came out just in time.
I did.
I loosened that one pretty good for you though.
You did. You basically had it done.
But this one has a smaller root ball than the last one. I mean, we're doing this in an attempt to save these plants, otherwise they would get trampled and we'd have to toss them. So I'm hoping they both survive. It'd be a real big bummer if one of them lived and one of them didn't. Then I'll have to move again, move that one again. Oh my goodness, I absolutely love this. It's like what we needed the whole time, Aaron.
Yeah. So much better than the urns.
Yeah, way better than the urns. Let me show you all the angles here. So this is like at the approach going down the driveway. And then you do have to imagine the sidewalk finish and all that business. We've got quite a bit of work to do yet, but boy, that's so nice to have such big established boxwoods. So everybody say a little prayer, please, for my 2 boxwoods. I hope they both survive. And Aaron and I talked about it, and I do think we're gonna finish this boxwood hedge, and then I'm gonna go get the 5 Boscobel roses from in front of the gazebo and backplant the boxwoods in this area with those. I think that would be absolutely beautiful. But we'll do that a different day. I'm gonna recover from this project. Also, I did leave the soil on the burlap sacks next to these just because we want to let the soil settle, like I mentioned earlier, so that we can make sure that that root ball is completely covered with soil and there's no air pockets, because that would be a huge detriment. That could finish them off. So anyway, we're gonna be babying these things, giving them lots of water, and we're gonna just hope for the best. they do need a little bit of a trim, especially that one over there. And that is it for today's project. This makes me so excited and happy to have these big anchor evergreen pieces. Can you imagine how much these would cost to buy this size? Like, it would be crazy. So to utilize those kinds of things, like those 2 spirals that we still do have flanking the gazebo, I mean, if I can find a spot for those, we're gonna get those moved. So anyway, just all that said, there'll probably be a lot of transplanting videos in the near future. So hope you guys enjoyed those. But at least you'll be able to see kind of like where they're coming from, where they're gonna end up in our garden, and then kind of the process and the outcome. Because you guys will see if these start to struggle or if we lose some, which I do expect some percentage of them not to survive because they're so established. But anyway, super happy with this today. Thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.